research and development in the area of lighting and energy and renewables. Energy and In today's world, we hear a lot about energy crisis, blackouts, supply and demand shortage. And why is that? This is, to a great extent, is affected by three trends globally. Energy efficiency, so there is a lot of pressure on supply. Urbanization, people moving from the countryside to the big cities. A lot of change in the quality of life. So people are having a better income and are able to attract more or get more electronics and equipment that needs power. And basically the pressure on lighting and pressure on resources in areas where there is a shortage in supply. Egypt is not that far from that point. We globally are affected by energy shortage. Egypt is, over the last 2 years, start to witness blackouts during the day. And this is because of supply and demand variance throughout the day and night. Because of a lot of pressure on lighting, can anybody tells me how much exactly, how do we allocate electricity in Egypt? How much we are using or allocating for lighting? No, 20 to 22% of allocation of electricity goes to lighting. In Egypt, if we look into electricity and how it's distributed among the different sectors in Egypt, 50% goes to the residential areas. So homes are consuming 50% of our electricity. 20% goes to industry, 16% goes to government buildings, and the rest is distributed among other areas, road lighting, agriculture, and other industries. Before I start my first part of presentation about the lighting revolution, I would like to share with you a small movie that will tell you how the lighting is changing and how the lighting would help in solving the problem of energy crisis in Egypt. Coming to the lighting revolution. 120 years ago, Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Light bulb that we are using till today. So for 120 years ago, for 120 years, we are still using the same innovation, the same technology. Whereas that's why all the development around the normal light bulb 120 years ago was around the size, the shape, and the light color. 3 years ago, because of the energy crisis and everyone is looking after how to save and preserve energy, the focus on LED as a technology or a replacement for solving or solution to solve the problem popped up. If you see on the chart here, the incandescent lamp or the first light bulb technology remains the same till 2012, whereas the development of LED being one of the main source of light is quite impressive, it's quite fast. The development in LED and in lighting is the second fast developing and growing industry after the IT. You can imagine that the development in LED change every 6 months. The phase in and the phase out of the LED technology and the LED products are quite fast and changing every 6 months. So basically the cost is going down, the amount of development happen on LED as a light source, being lamp, being luminaire, being a source of light in any way in the cars. You start seeing that practice that is integrated in all the industries, not from the cars to houses to street lighting, in a lot of applications. According to the latest studies, it shows that 75% of the light systems installed today are very old systems and can be replaced immediately to LED technology and can save up to 90% of the energy consumed using LEDs. You may say it's quite expensive compared to what we have today. It's true and not true. True if you compare it to one-to-one, but not true if you look into the amount of other costs or hidden costs that you don't see. You pay maintenance. The LED lifetime is almost close to 50,000 hours, whereas the normal light source we have today not exceeding 3,000 to 4,000 hours. So as much as 10 times or maybe more in terms of lifetime. So the number of light sources that you would be changing throughout the lifetime, if you couple up all the cost, and if you couple up the maintenance cost, if you couple that up with a lot of costs that you have to do, like maintenance, like labor to change the bulbs, like stopping your business to replace the light source, is basically will come up. It will show you that it's completely workable and efficient solution, and it could save you up to 80 to 90% money and energy at the same time. So why LED and why we are talking about LED as a solution for saving energy? Egypt has, as I said, has supply problem because demand is increasing. So we have two solutions. Either we keep investing in new plants, in building up new plants, power plants, or work on consumption side. To work on consumption side with LED in lighting, which represent close to 20%, so 1/5 of the electricity consumed in the various segment, is quite important. It's not a peanut. We have a couple of examples I will share with you. It's already done in Egypt. It will show you how much we save energy and how can we save energy at the same time by using a very simple techniques in a couple of areas. The Ministry of Tourism has launched 6 months ago what's so-called green ecotourism. So they want to transform, because of hotels and hospitality is one of the most consuming energy segment in Egypt. They wanted to change the whole hotels or to transform the whole hotels to what's so-called green ecotourism. Green ecotourism, they picked two initiatives. Number one is lighting, and number two is water heating systems. According to the studies, according to the real studies, what we could do so far is we managed to save 90% of the electricity bills dedicated to lighting and air conditions in a lot of hotels. Hilton Hotel, for example, was one of the starting case we used in Egypt. The total project represents 18 Hilton Hotel in Egypt. Total project cost $2 million of investment, and total saving was $700,000 over a lifetime of close to 3 years, 2.7 years exactly. So they replaced all what they have, very simple one-to-one. They could save on the electricity bill. They could save as well on the return on investment was quite short, and they enjoy the rest of the lifetime, which goes up to 10 years, free energy using LED. Another example, it's not only about money and saving in energy, it's about as well looking into our environment. How much are we saving in carbon dioxide emission? How much exactly? Maybe it's not for the day-to-day on the residential side or in some industries, it's not important, but to be green and to save and to preserve. You have seen this morning in Jeroen's presentation, he was talking about the carbon emission and the impact on a lot of our environment and what will be happening in a couple of years if we are not changing our behavior in that sense. So according to that project, we could save close to 9,000 tons of carbon dioxide only out of 18 hotels. We have started as well now in the time being with a couple of other hotels in Egypt as a trial in couple of branches. And if the pilot succeed, we'll deploy out to the rest of the hotels. Looking into different industry, like for example, ABC company. ABC, the total project was to revisit, to do energy audit for all their outlets, their factories, and their warehouse. We managed in one of their major factory in Egypt to save down energy from 115 kilowatt hour consumption to become only 33 kilowatt hour by only managing energy, managing lighting, and using controls. Payback period was close to 15 months. So they invested, yes, they placed an initial investment, but they could get the money back in less than 2 years. Same goes for some other brands. We are interested as well in doing the same exercise by doing energy audit to preserve energy. Coming to street lighting. Why street lighting? Pepsi talked about road and safety and security. Lighting is not only for the sake, before it was only for the sake of general lighting. We have light. But there are a lot of applications, a lot of reasons behind why we should have a proper lighting everywhere. Road safety is quite important. One of the reasons when we had the problem, energy crisis 2 years ago, or we started to see that they start to shut down light poles in the street, or every 3 poles they shut down 1, or vice versa. Yes, from energy consumption point of view, it will save energy. However, on safety, road and safety, it's not safe at all. On the contrary, if you drive in a light, in a highway lit it, and suddenly it's getting dark, or you are driving in a dark highway and suddenly you find light, the eye reaction to get used to light, it takes a split of a second. And the split of a second, you could get into problems because of that. So proper managing road lighting. In light of road lighting as well, and the LED development, it opened up the development and technology of other businesses like solar power systems. In solar power is one of the industries where it's not new. It was there all the time. However, using solar PV in different applications was limited because the amount of energy generated by using solar PV was quite limited. Accordingly, the application to use it was as well limited. Now you have a light source that can use only 10% of the conventional solution. Accordingly, the combination between solar power and LED give us a lot of opportunities. That's why in a lot of residential areas, we started with the first green example compound in Egypt in installing solar standalone lighting systems. The saving is almost close to 60%. We managed to save, instead of using conventional solutions that would consume 45 kilowatt, their consumption across the whole community will go down to 18, which means this is one residential area. Imagine if we replicate that across a city, or we replicate that across Egypt or a specific segment. How much can we save out of our electricity? In Egypt, unfortunately, the allocation, as I said, 50% goes to residential, 20% goes to the industry. In some areas, like the new industrial cities, in the new cities in Upper Egypt, for example, they set a limit and ceiling for each company or each factory of electricity. They cannot exceed that limit. If their business prosper and they want to expand, they are not allowed. The only reason they reallocate their factories to another area where they can get more electricity, or they are allowed to spend or to consume more electricity. By using solar and LED, you could free energy and reallocate it to different segments. Like for example, you don't need to spend a lot of time on your warehouse or your road lighting, but you need to spend a lot of energy on having a better industry or a bigger industry. So LED and lighting is enabler, and it's a good enabler and a cheap enabler. Last but not least, Egypt, if we look into the index of sun radiation intensity globally on the global map, you will find Egypt has the highest sun radiation intensity globally. So we have one of the highest intensity. Worth to mention that Germany, for example, and Nordic countries are generating close to 20 to 30% of their energy in some areas out of solar power. Whereas in Egypt, it's minimal. It's 0.1 or 0.2%. We have the sun, we have the source, and we are not using it. On the contrary, we are pushing toward investing in adding more plants, power plants, and spending money on managing additional plants. I came to the end of my presentation. Hopefully it was useful, and if you have any question, I would be glad to answer. Thank you very much.